In the beginning, there is silence. No applause, no recognition, no spotlight. Only you and the quiet echo of your own potential. Every great empire began this way, in obscurity, in the stillness of the unseen. Before Edison lit the world, he worked in the dark, literally. A cramped lab, 1,000 failed attempts, the smell of burnt filaments, and the mocking voices of those who called him insane. But Edison wasn't chasing the light of fame. He was creating it, and that's where success truly begins. Not in public victory, but in private struggle. The invisible hours when no one's watching, no one's clapping, and no one cares. That's the forge, a hidden battlefield where dreams either die or become destiny. You see, the world loves to celebrate results. It loves the trophies, the awards, the headlines, the success stories, neatly tied with a bow. But what the world doesn't see, what it never claps for, are the nights you worked when you didn't have to. The mornings you woke up before dawn because something inside you refused to sleep. The failures that tore you apart, and the faith that glued you back together. Invisible work is not glamorous. It's lonely. It's brutal. It's the kind of work that tests your soul, the kind that whispers, maybe you're not cut out for this. And it's in that moment when no one believes in you that the universe is watching to see if you do. The invisible work is the tax you pay for greatness. It's the quiet rehearsal before the world ever sees your stage. It's the sweat behind the genius, the repetition behind the mastery, the discipline behind the freedom. Think of Henry Ford. Before he built an empire, he was mocked for believing ordinary people could own an automobile. They said he was mad to dream of something so common, being affordable. But Ford worked in silence, building engines in his shed, testing, failing, rebuilding until his invisible work turned into an industrial revolution. What most people call overnight success is usually 10,000 invisible nights stitched together by belief. And that's the truth most will never accept because it demands patience in a world addicted to speed. We live in an age where everyone wants to be seen. But the masters of every generation understood that visibility is the reward, not the path. You earn the light by surviving the dark. Invisible work is not just physical, it's psychological. It's when you train your mind to keep believing, even when results haven't shown up. It's when you refuse to measure your worth by numbers, views, likes, or applause, and instead you measure it by integrity, by the standard you hold yourself to when nobody's watching. That's what separates the powerful from the passive, the achievers from the dreamers, the builders from the talkers. You must understand something fundamental. Every great transformation happens twice: first in the unseen mind, and only then in the visible world. As Hill once said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But that belief isn't built in public. It's built in the silence of your thoughts through repetition and faith. The invisible work begins in your mind long before your hands ever touch the result. You can't plant a seed and demand fruit the next day. You nurture it in the dark soil, water it, protect it, trust it. You don't dig it up every morning to see if it's growing. That's how faith works. Invisible, quiet, patient, powerful. There's a law in the universe that never fails. You always harvest what you plant, but never immediately. And those who quit before the harvest are those who never understood that the waiting is part of the work. Your invisible work, your discipline, your late nights, your journaling, your study, your solitude, they are not wasted. They are building the roots that will one day feed the fruits. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. When the storm comes, and it will come, the ones who survive are not the loudest, but the ones who've done their invisible work in silence. The foundation no one saw. The resilience no one noticed. The mindset no one appreciated. That's the paradox of greatness. You must be willing to go unseen before you can become unforgettable. So the next time you feel unnoticed, remember, that's where legends are born. That's where resilience is shaped. That's where destiny sharpens its sword in the dark. Invisible work is not punishment. It's preparation. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And when the time is right, your growth will look like magic to the world, but you will know the truth. It wasn't magic. It was the quiet grind no one saw. There's a kind of person who works when no one's watching, who studies when others scroll, who builds when others sleep, and who believes when others quit. That person may not look powerful today, but time will reveal their strength, because discipline is invisible power. It's the unseen engine behind every dream that ever came true. It's not loud. It doesn't boast. It simply shows up again and again and again until the world can no longer ignore what persistence has created. Look at any person who changed history, and you'll find a pattern. They were relentless in private before they were celebrated in public. Walt Disney went bankrupt twice. His early sketches were rejected by editors who said, "You have no imagination." imagination. But what did he do? He kept drawing. He kept dreaming. He kept building a world that existed only in his mind. And when the rest of the world finally saw it, they called it magic. But it wasn't magic. It was invisible work belief so strong that reality had no choice but to obey it. The invisible work is about becoming the kind of person success can trust. If you want massive results, start by building a massive foundation. Everyone wants a mansion on the hill, but few are willing to dig deep enough to build the foundation that can carry it. Invisible work is that, digging deep, lonely, unglamorous, essential. You will be tempted to rush. You will be tempted to show your progress too early, to prove yourself to those who doubt you. But here's the truth. Validation is a drug that kills your vision. When you start performing for attention, you stop performing for excellence. And success, true success, only comes to those who choose excellence over exposure. Every day, the universe is asking you one silent question. Can you stay faithful to the vision when it's invisible? Can you keep working when there's no applause, no money, no promise, no proof? Can you still believe that you were chosen for something greater, even when nothing seems to work? That's where destiny is tested. Not in moments of triumph, but in moments of doubt. When the results don't show up, but you still do. Discipline is not about control. It's about commitment. It's a vow you make with your future self. I will not betray you for comfort. I will not trade your potential for temporary pleasure. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Anyone can have a vision, but only the discipline can bring it to life. The mind loves comfort, but greatness lives in discomfort. Every rep in the gym, every chapter you read, every hour of study, every quiet decision to stay consistent, those are your invisible victories. And though no one celebrates them now, one day they'll form the backbone of your legacy. Clarity grows in the dark too. When you're alone with your thoughts, away from the noise of the world, you begin to hear your purpose speak. It's a faint whisper at first, easily drowned out by fear and distraction. But if you learn to sit with it, nurture it, protect it, it becomes a roar that guides your every action. Invisible work isn't just what you do, it's who you become in the process. It forces you to meet yourself, the impatient self, the doubtful self, the lazy self, and conquer each of them. Every time you push through resistance, you are carving a new identity, one built on endurance and faith. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." That's not just a quote, it's the universal law of belief. The mind doesn't distinguish between truth and belief, it simply obeys whatever you tell it long enough. That's why invisible work begins in thought. Before you can manifest success, you must first master the way you think about yourself. If you tell yourself you are unlucky, you will attract misfortune. If you tell yourself you are destined, the universe will start to rearrange itself in your favor. Because the mind is the architect, and the world is just the blueprint. When Napoleon Hill interviewed the giants of his era, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Edison, he discovered something startling. Every single one of them credited their success not to money, luck, or timing, but to belief, a burning desire so relentless that the world eventually had to bend to it. Invisible work is about building that belief day by day, choice by choice. It's about creating a vision so clear that doubt becomes irrelevant. You stop asking if and start asking how. You stop seeking permission and start taking ownership. You stop waiting for the world to validate you and start validating yourself through action. Because the truth is, success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who prepare. And preparation, my friend, is invisible work. When you study, when you meditate, when you plan, when you train, even when you fail, you are preparing the soil for your moment. And when that moment comes, it will look like luck. But deep down, you'll know it wasn't luck at all. It was the dark hours. It was the unseen grind. It was the faith that refused to die. So if you're still waiting for your moment, let me tell you this. Your moment is waiting for you. It's waiting for you to become the kind of person who can hold it without breaking. And that happens only through invisible work. Purpose is the compass that keeps your invisible work from becoming invisible suffering. Without it, effort feels empty motion without meaning. But with it, even the smallest task feels sacred. You see, purpose doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It arrives quietly, like a whisper in your chest. It's that pull you feel towards something bigger, something that won't let you rest until you build it, write it, speak it, live it. Purpose is what transforms pain into power. The truth is, your struggle isn't random. Every frustration, every delay, every closed door, it's part of your shaping. The dark doesn't just hide your potential, it creates it. Pressure is what turns ordinary stone into diamond. So when life feels heavy, don't curse the weight, learn to lift it. Each setback is a gym for your soul, and the heavier the weight, the stronger you become. That's why the great ones never complain about the dark. They use it. They turn isolation to introspection, doubt into fuel, failure into feedback. Abraham Lincoln lost election after election before he ever touched the presidency. Winston Churchill was dismissed from politics before leading a nation through its darkest hour. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Edison, mocked for every failure failed filament once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's resilience, not born in the spotlight, but carved in the shadows. Invisible work demands that kind of faith, the kind that refuses to die no matter how long the night lasts. Because success doesn't test your talent. It tests your endurance. It asks, can you keep showing up after you've been broken? Can you believe in the light even when your world is dark? Gratitude is what keeps that faith alive. Gratitude is invisible fuel. It's the quiet realization that even the pain has purpose. When you can thank the struggle while you're still in it, you transcend it. Most people only give thanks when things go right, but the masters give thanks while they're still bleeding, because they understand that growth and gratitude are twins. They cannot live apart. The more grateful you become, the more strength you unlock. The more you focus on what you have, the more life gives you what you need. In the stillness of your unseen work, take a moment each day to say, I am grateful for the chance to become. Not for the rewards, not for the praise, but for the becoming itself. Because you are being sculpted by an unseen hand, shaped into someone who can hold what you once thought impossible. That's the secret Napoleon Hill buried inside Think and Grow Rich. It was never just about money. It was about becoming the person who deserves the wealth, the thoughts, the habits, the resilience, the gratitude. That's the real treasure. Wealth is just the shadow that follows. Every time you act with purpose, you train your subconscious mind to work for you. Every time you visualize, you are building the future in blueprint form. Every time you stay disciplined when no one's watching, you are whispering to the universe, I'm ready. And the universe listens, not to your words, to your patterns, not to your dreams, to your discipline. The unseen is not empty. It's sacred. It's where the laws of creation operate, where cause and effect begin their dance long before the world sees the outcome. So if you feel like your effort doesn't matter, if you've been working for months or years without visible results, understand this. Invisible progress is still progress. The seed doesn't look like a tree, but the potential is already there. You are not behind, you are becoming. Resilience is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It's the force that carries you through uncertainty, fatigue, and failure. And it's built through repetition, through choosing faith one more time, through rising one more morning, through believing one more day. The people who seem unstoppable are not fearless. They've just learned that fear loses power when you walk through it enough times. They've learned that courage is not the absence of doubt. It's moving forward in spite of it. So when your vision feels distant, remember this truth. The night always gets darkest right before the dawn, not metaphorically, physically. That's how nature works, and the same law applies to you. When your mind tells you it's over, that's usually when your breakthrough is near, because the dark is the final test, the moment the universe asks, do you still want it? And if your answer is yes, not with your words, but with your work, the dawn begins to rise. You won't notice it at first. A single spark of progress, a small door opening, a subtle shift in momentum. But that's how it always starts, quietly, invisibly, faithfully, until one day you wake up and realize the light you were chasing was never out there. It was inside you all along. That's the revelation the dark gives you, that the power wasn't in the recognition or the reward or the result. It was in the resilience you built, in the faith you forged, in the belief that refused to die. Invisible work doesn't just build success, it builds you. The real wealth is not what you gain, it's who you become. And when you finally rise into the light, you won't just have a story of success, you'll have a soul that's unbreakable. When the light finally arrives, most people think it's the end of the story. But that's where the real story begins. Because once you've survived the dark, success is no longer just an achievement, it's an identity. You become the kind of person who doesn't need proof anymore. You are the proof. And that's the quiet irony of invisible work. It makes you powerful long before the world realizes you are. By the time they notice you, you've already been tempered by fire. By the time they applaud, you've already built something that can't be taken away. See, the dark doesn't break you, it reveals you. It exposes who you are when the noise disappears. And when you finally rise, you don't rise with arrogance, you rise with understanding. You look around and realize that success was never about the external. It was about internal alignment, spirit, discipline, vision, and belief moving as one unstoppable force. When Napoleon Hill wrote about definiteness of purpose, he wasn't talking about goals on paper. He meant a state of being, a person so clear about their mission that the world bends in their direction. That clarity is magnetic. It pulls people, opportunities, and ideas toward you because clarity is energy. Invisible work gives birth to that clarity. When you sit with your failures, when you process your fears, when you you refine your craft in silence, something miraculous happens. Confusion turns into conviction. You stop chasing everything and start building the one thing that truly matters. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. Most people live from the outside in, letting circumstances dictate how they feel. But leaders, creators, masters, they live from the inside out. Their inner world shapes their outer one. And that's the real reward of invisible work, the power to create reality from within. Once you understand that, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because no fall can destroy you anymore. You've already walked through darkness. You've already faced rejection, fear, failure, and you realized something profound. None of it could kill your spirit. That's when you stop fearing loss, because you know you are the source. You can rebuild anything, recreate anything, rise from anything. When you reach that level, success becomes inevitable. Not because of luck or talent, but because of identity. You become the kind of person who manifests excellence by default. Invisible work transforms you into that person. The discipline that once felt like a burden becomes freedom. The silence that once felt lonely becomes sacred. The effort that once felt exhausting becomes effortless. You've entered the flow state of mastery, the point where doing and being become one. And from there, you start to see the world differently. You no longer ask, will I make it? You ask, who else can I lift while I rise? Because you realize something powerful, the purpose of success isn't possession, it's contribution. The invisible work you did wasn't just for you. It was to light the way for others still walking through their dark. When Thomas Edison was asked about his failures, he didn't say, I succeeded for me. He said, I succeeded so that others could have a light. That's the real purpose of mastery, to illuminate the path for those still searching for theirs. Your pain, your process, your persistence, they were never meaningless. They were your initiation. You had to go through the invisible so you could become visible, not for validation, but for impact, because people don't follow success. They follow strength, and strength is only forged in struggle. When the world sees your light, they won't just see the glow, they'll feel the darkness you conquered to create it. That's why gratitude must remain even when the success comes, because it keeps you grounded in truth. It reminds you that the climb was sacred, the dark was divine, and the invisible work was never wasted. It was all preparation for your real calling, to inspire others to believe in their own unseen power. You are proof that invisible work works, that patience pays, that faith manifests, that the dark is not your enemy, it's your mentor. And when you finally walk into your destiny, you'll do it quietly. No need to shout, no need to prove. The world will already feel your energy before you speak a word. Because real success doesn't need announcement, it radiates. There's a law in the universe that never fails. What you master in private, you will manifest in public. And what you neglect in private, no amount of pretending can hide. So protect your unseen hours. They are your power. They are the womb of creation, where your next version is being born. If you ever doubt your journey, remember this. The seed doesn't bloom by fighting the dark. It blooms by trusting it. You are that seed. You are not behind. You are exactly where the light begins. So work, believe, endure, be patient. And when the world finally sees you rise, let them think it happened overnight, because only you will know how many invisible nights it truly took. And when you look back, standing in your light, you'll smile, not because it's over, but because you finally understand the power was never in the success. It was in the invisible work that made you who you are. You'll realize the truth. Napoleon Hill spent a lifetime trying to teach that success begins long before the applause, the money, or the fame. It begins in the mind, in the heart, in the quiet choices made when nobody's watching. It begins in the dark. And now you know the dark was never your enemy. It was your making. So honor it, work within it, and rise from it. As the light itself, the air is still now. The fire of ambition has burned through its frenzy and left a steady glow inside you. This is the quiet after the climb, the kind of silence that doesn't mean emptiness, but arrival. You stand where you once only dreamed, and for a moment you understand how far the invisible hours have carried you. Every scar, every lonely night, every whispered doubt, they all make sense now. They were the curriculum of greatness. The dark taught you what no success could ever teach, how to trust yourself when there is nothing to hold on to but faith. Look around you. The world moves fast, chasing noise, chasing approval, chasing shortcuts. But you know the secret rhythm now. You know that the deepest growth happens slowly, quietly, invisibly. That power built in silence cannot be taken away by sound. So you no longer rush. You move with intent. You no longer chase validation. You create value. You no longer wait for opportunities. You prepare so deeply that opportunity can't ignore you. And as you breathe, gratitude fills your chest. Gratitude for the nights that broke you open. Gratitude for the lessons that came disguised as failure. Gratitude for the moments you almost gave up but didn't, because those were the moments that wrote your strength into your bones. Understand this. Every vision you will ever bring to life will follow this same rhythm. Darkness, discipline, discovery, dawn, the dark again, the light again. That's the eternal cycle of creation. It is not punishment. It is preparation. It's the universe sculpting you into a vessel capable of carrying what you ask for. So as you move forward, keep your roots in the unseen. Keep a piece of you anchored in humility, in gratitude, in faith. Because if you forget the dark, you forget what made you whole. If you forget the invisible work, you lose the very force that built your strength. Every morning now when you wake, remember this. You are already successful because you are faithful. You are already rich because you are resourceful. You are already powerful because you are patient. Let your life become the example of what invisible work can do. When people ask how you did it, don't give them steps. Give them truth. Tell them about the nights you cried but still showed up. Tell them about the rejection letters, the failures, the solitude that taught you clarity. Tell them that the secret isn't a method. It's a mindset. It's the quiet decision to keep building when no one believes you should. You don't need to fight for the light anymore. You are the light. Every action, every thought, every moment of belief sends a signal out into the world. And the world in time answers. Because the universe always reflects the energy you become. So stand tall. Breathe deeply. Know that you've earned this peace, not through luck, but through invisible work. And know that the journey never really ends. Every new level of purpose will call you back to the dark again. Not as punishment, but as rebirth. Each time you'll return wiser, calmer, more certain. Each time the invisible will shape you again. That's how masters live. They build in silence. They trust the unseen. They move not for recognition, but for realization. They don't chase light. They generate it. So when the world sleeps, work. When the world doubts, believe. When the world looks away, focus. Because success, real success, is the quiet alignment of vision and will. And it always, always begins in the dark. Let that truth settle into your heartbeat. You are not lost. You are not late. You are precisely where your destiny starts to grow. And when the time comes for your light to rise again, it will not be small. It will not be sudden. It will be inevitable. Because invisible work never disappears. It becomes everything. It becomes you. Soft pause. Now go. Do the work no one sees. Build what no one believes. Trust what no one understands. And one day, the world will stand in the glow of what you created in silence, and they will call it a miracle. But you will smile, knowing it was never magic. It was the power of invisible work. It was the success that began in the dark. Breathe in, hold, and breathe out slowly. Feel the weight of every word you've just heard settle deep within you, like seeds finding soil. You've traveled far in the story. You've walked through darkness, through discipline, through quiet creation. Now, it's time to rest inside your own becoming, because what you've built, even if it's not visible yet, is already alive. It's growing inside you. Every idea, every act of courage, every moment you chose faith over fear, it's forming the foundation of the life you're stepping into. The outside world may not see it, but you do. You can feel it like a pulse, steady and certain beneath the surface. That's your power returning to you. Now imagine this, a gentle dawn rising over a mountain you once thought was impossible to climb. The light touches the peak first, then spills downward slowly, gracefully, until the whole world is warm again. That light is you. You are no longer chasing success. You are becoming success. Because true success isn't the applause, it's the alignment. It's when who you are, what you do, and what you believe all move in the same rhythm. And that rhythm is calm, confident, unbreakable. When you wake tomorrow, you won't need to rush. You won't need to prove. You'll simply move with purpose, with patience, with power, because you now understand the unseen. You trust the invisible process that shapes all things, just as the roots grow before the tree is ever seen. Remember, every morning is a new chance to start silently building again, to shape your destiny one disciplined breath, one courageous act, one unseen step at a time. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. And one day soon, maybe without realizing when it happened, you look around and see the world has shifted to match your vision. Not because luck arrived, but because you didn't quit, because you stayed true when no one was watching, because you trusted the silence. Music fades into soft wind. So now, let go. Let go of the tension, the proving, the noise. You don't have to chase the light anymore. You carry it within you. The same light that guided you through the dark will guide you through the dawn. Close your eyes. eyes. Feel the stillness inside you expand, warm, infinite, alive. This is peace earned. This is success felt, not shown. And as you drift into sleep tonight, let this truth echo quietly in your heart. The invisible work is never wasted. Every second in silence built the life I now deserve. Now breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let the rhythm of your breath become the rhythm of the universe. Slow, steady, powerful, calm. You are exactly where you need to be. You've done enough for today. Let rest do its work now, because even in stillness, creation continues. Good night, builder of dreams. Good night, quiet warrior. Tomorrow the world will meet the version of you that tonight's silence created. Fade to silence, faint heartbeat, end of script.